You just checked your phone 2 minutes ago. Nothing important happened. And yet, here you are again. Maybe you're waiting for a message, maybe you're bored, maybe you told yourself you'd check it just for a second. But somehow that second keeps turning into 10, then 20, then an hour gone without noticing. So why does this happen? Why do millions of people keep reaching for their phones even when they know there's probably nothing there? And more importantly, why does it feel so hard to stop? By the end of this video, you'll understand the hidden reason your phone keeps pulling your attention, the psychological tricks behind the habit, and the one shift that can finally help you break the loop. Let's be honest, most of us don't just use our phones. We orbit them. We wake up and check them. We reach for them during breaks. We pick them up without thinking, unlock them, scroll for a few seconds, lock them again, and then repeat the whole cycle minutes later. This is not just a bad habit, it's a pattern. And that pattern is built from boredom, anticipation, reward, and something much deeper than simple self-control. The real trigger. The biggest reason you keep checking your phone is not actually the phone itself. It's the feeling that something might be there. A message, a notification, a like, a news update, a reply. A sign that something is happening. Your brain hates uncertainty, so it keeps asking, what if I missed something? That tiny possibility is powerful. Even when your phone is silent, your mind still imagines a reward waiting inside it. That's why you check it even when you don't consciously want to. You're not always chasing information. Sometimes you're chasing relief. Because checking the phone feels like answering a question. Did anything happen while I wasn't looking? The reward loop. Here's where it gets sneaky. Phones don't reward you every time, and that's exactly what makes them so addictive. Sometimes you open the screen and see nothing. Sometimes there's one message. Sometimes there's a funny video, a new notification, or something interesting enough to keep you scrolling. That unpredictable pattern is extremely effective. Your brain learns that maybe, just maybe, the next check will be the one that gives you something good. And once your brain learns that pattern, it starts asking for the check before you even think about it. That's why people check their phones during class, during meals, while walking, and even while talking to someone. It's not always conscious. Often, it's automatic. Boredom feels uncomfortable. Now another reason is boredom. But not the old kind of boredom where you stare out the window and let your mind wander. Modern boredom feels uncomfortable. The moment there's a pause, waiting in line, riding in a car, sitting alone, finishing a task, the phone appears. Why? Because your brain has been trained to expect instant stimulation. Phones fill every empty second with quick rewards. Messages, videos, headlines, memes, updates. So silence starts to feel strange. Stillness feels empty. And because of that, your hand moves before your mind even decides. The fear of missing out. There's another layer too. Fear of missing out. You don't just want entertainment. You want to know you're not being left behind. Maybe your friends are making plans. Maybe people are talking about something. Maybe there's a trend, an update, a message, or a moment you're not part of. That fear pushes people to keep checking. Even when nothing is urgent, the brain says, what if this is the one thing I shouldn't miss? That's why the urge gets stronger when you're alone, anxious, or comparing yourself to others. Phone checking becomes a way to stay connected. But it can also become a way to avoid feeling left out. Stress makes it worse. Here's something many people don't notice. Stress makes the habit stronger. When you feel overwhelmed, your brain looks for something easy and familiar. Checking the phone gives you a tiny escape. It's quick. It's simple. It doesn't require effort. So instead of dealing with the stressful task, awkward feeling, or uncomfortable silence, you check the screen. Not because the phone solves the problem, but because it distracts you from it. This is why people often check their phones the most when they should be focusing, resting, or thinking clearly. Why it feels so automatic. At some point, checking your phone stops being a choice and starts becoming a reflex. You feel a small pause. Your hand moves. You unlock the screen. You scroll. You put it down. Then you do it again. That loop becomes stronger every time it runs. And because the action is so small, it's easy to ignore. Nobody says, I have a phone addiction, after checking once. But after 50 microchecks a day, the habit becomes part of your identity. You start to believe that you just like checking your phone. In reality, your brain has learned to treat it like a safety signal. The hidden problem. The real problem is not that you care too much about your phone. It's that your phone has become the easiest answer to almost every uncomfortable feeling. Bored? Check the phone. Nervous? Check the phone. Waiting? Check the phone. Lonely? Check the phone. Avoiding work? Check the phone. So over time, the device becomes your default escape. And the more often you use it that way, the less comfortable you become without it. That's why putting the phone away can feel weird at first. Not because you truly need it, but because your brain has forgotten what to do in the empty space it used to fill. Now here's the good news. You do not need to hate your phone to stop checking it. You just need to understand what the urge is really doing for you. Most of the time, the phone is not the real craving. The real craving is for certainty, stimulation, comfort, connection, or relief. Once you see that, you can pause before reacting. You can ask one simple question. What am I actually looking for right now? That question changes everything. Because sometimes you're not looking for a message. You're looking for distraction. You're not looking for social media. You're looking for a break. You're not looking at the phone because it's powerful. You're looking because your brain learned to reach for it first. And once you notice the pattern, you can start breaking it. Not by force, not by guilt, but by awareness. And that's the first real step to getting your attention back. So let's sum it up. You keep checking your phone because your brain expects a reward, hates uncertainty, reacts to boredom, fears missing out, and uses the phone as an escape from stress. The habit feels automatic because it has been repeated so many times that it now runs on reflex. But the moment you understand the reason behind the urge, you stop being controlled by it in the same way. And that's the real message here. Your phone is not just a device. It's a mirror of what your brain wants most in the moment. If you can recognize the feeling behind the check, you can begin to choose something better. The next time your hand reaches for your phone, pause for 1 second. That 1 second may be the beginning of a different habit.